Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Thanks so much for your time. Let's talk today about attention deficit disorder from the naturopathic perspective. You know, when I was younger, 30 years ago, there was hardly any ADD or ADHD, and I would suspect that if you are in your 70s or 80s, you can remember a time when there was hardly any of it. And there's debate in the scientific community as whether it existed and it just wasn't recognized or whether it just didn't exist at all, and I'm here to tell you it didn't exist at all. And there is a troubling, there are some fun facts to know and tell about this illness, and there are some troubling statistics because in the last little while, right, starting 30 years ago and coming up until the present time, more and 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 more people are being diagnosed, correctly or incorrectly, being diagnosed and treated for ADD and ADHD. Originally, 30 years ago, when this diagnosis first became a thing, the only people that were diagnosed were children between the ages of 3 and 6. Now, it's not only children, it's adolescents and adults, and interestingly enough, boys are 3 times more likely to be diagnosed with ADD than girls are, which begs the question, do boys process data differently than girls do, and is it really a problem with them? Is it really a reflection of an imbalance in their system that needs to be treated? There's a lot of debate about this issue, but nonetheless, more and more and more and more people are being diagnosed with it and being treated with the MD pharmaceutical drug of choice, Adderall and or Ritalin. It's big business, ladies and gentlemen, to the tune of, well, these are 2013 numbers. I looked for 2018 numbers, but it's too early in the year to get them. I would guess it's close to, if not over, $1 billion a year just in Adderall sales. Gigantic money. And, you know, with the medical doctors being a medical monopoly and kind of a one-trick pony, they're not really concerned with collateral damage. And there's a lot of collateral damage when it comes specifically just to Adderall. This was published in 1996. That's 22 years ago. Conventional medical doctors have known that if you take Adderall, your testosterone levels go down. So what's happening? Remember, 3 times as many men or as many boys diagnosed and treated with drugs like this. Testosterone levels come down. The male gender is being demasculinized, and this is going to have remarkable consequences socially moving forward. And I'm not the only one saying, well, maybe it's probably, did you ever think maybe it's a misdiagnosis? Maybe there's something going wrong here. I'm not the only one that thinks this. This is from Psychiatry Advisor. Is ADHD an epidemic or an epidemic of overdiagnosis? Harvard University, the same. Is ADHD overdiagnosed and overtreated? Psychology Today, they come right out and say it. ADHD is overdiagnosed. Here's proof. Regardless of whether it's accurately diagnosed or not, the simple fact of the matter is that there are millions of people being treated with these pharmaceuticals, the intention of which is not to cure the condition, but simply to manage the condition. We have to keep this in the back of our minds. Medical doctors don't know how to cure things, right? They can cure an infection, but that's about it. So with ADD or ADHD, since nobody knows what causes it, or since the MDs don't know what causes it, their treatments are specifically designed to manage the situation. And then there's going to be fallout from the management treatment. But in MD land, that's just par for the course, which is why, thank God, there's the naturopathic alternative. Now remember, the quintessential underlining defining feature of the naturopathic medical approach is that it is grounded in holistic philosophy. And holism argues that the body has wisdom, that the body is attempting to fix itself. The body knows how to fix itself. The body wants to fix itself. The body's trying to fix itself. The body is smart. So smart, it grew itself, all by itself, from a tiny cell into us, and is managing millions of biochemical reactions right now, all of which are outside of our conscious control. It is the sacred obligation of the holistic physician to develop and deliver therapeutics which support the body's built-in, God-given ability to fix itself. We do that by providing the nutrients that the body needs to function optimally and by counseling people to stop eating food that's gumming up the works. What's that, Dr. Glidden? How can food possibly have any negative effect on my behavior? Well, there was a medical doctor, Doris Rapp. She's in her late 80s now. She was a pioneer uncovering the extreme relationship between the consumption of allergic foods and exposure to environmental toxins and central nervous system dysfunction. Here is a video from her clinic.
We'd now like to show you how some children change in behavior, in activity, and in appearance because of some environmental factors. The first youngster we want to show you is a little 3-year-old boy, and we're going to see what happens to him after he drinks orange juice. Isn't it surprising that he changes this much, this quickly, and in this way? Now let's look at this 5-year-old boy who is being tested for chlorine. Notice how nice he is before he's tested. He's adorable. And now look at him. He's trying to bite his father. He's actually frothing at the mouth. He's trying to hit his dad. He's hollering. He's uncontrollable. Would you believe that this could happen to a youngster from one drop of a chlorine allergy extract? Now let's look at this little 3-year-old boy. He's going to eat some sugar cubes. He eats about 6 or 8 of them. And within 20 minutes, look at what happens to him. He's obviously irritated. He's angry. He is not acting the way he should. And when we give him the correct dilution of sugar, look at him. He's adorable. Now let's look at this 8-year-old boy. He's being tested with an allergy extract for strawberry. Look at how he acts. He is so angry. He almost looks demonic. He wants to bite his mother. At one point he put his finger in her eye and he said, "Fine." Let's look at this youngster. We're testing this boy for sugar. His mother has to physically hold him down because he's trying to bite her, he's trying to hit her. What do you think would happen if she let loose?
This is a book that Dr. Rapp wrote, and if you think or know that your child is on this spectrum of ADD, ADHD, or you think that you might be, you should get this book and read it, because knowledge really is power, and it goes a long way here. And you know, the videos that I just showed you were extreme examples of really aggressive behavior elicited not because of bad genes or because of socialization or bad parenting, but simply because of consumption of allergic foods or exposure to environmental toxins, like chlorine, for goodness sakes. Now, these are extreme behaviors, but there's a gray area here, the beginning of which is problem focusing, problems communicating, classical ADD symptoms, and ADHD symptoms, and then violent symptoms. The take-home story here is, if we are attempting to optimize the structure and function of the central nervous system, then discovery of and elimination of offending foods and environmental stuff is mandatory. But medical doctors have no conceptual understanding of this at all, and so most children, young adults, and adults follow the medical doctors over the cliff to their oblivion. So what do? Well, it's not that. This isn't rocket science, folks, right? There are 12 foods that we are of the opinion that nobody should look at, let alone eat. You can get this list for free at glidden.healthcare. You can also watch a free video there where I explain why these foods are bad. Now, we recommend these foods because they have net negative reactions to the human body. Interestingly, many of these foods also elicit allergic reactions. So, I'm of the opinion that nobody should eat these foods ever in their lives, and that these foods should be removed 100%. It's also possible that there are other foods that the ADD or ADHD person will be reacting to that are not in this category, but this is a good place to start. So first we remove bad food, and then guess what we do? We increase good food. What's that, Dr. Glidden? Cholesterol? Yeah. Cholesterol. I'm going to tell you to eat lots of butter. Eat food that's high in fat, high in cholesterol. Why? Because your central nervous system, your brain, your nerves are made from cholesterol. Over 75% of your central nervous system is made from cholesterol. Cholesterol is not the Antichrist. I would gainsay that one of the leading contributors to an increased incidence of ADD and ADHD is reduced fat consumption by people all across North America. Now, we identify and eliminate food that's hurting the body. We increase the consumption of food that's beneficial to the central nervous system. And then we fill the body's nutritional tank up with the 90 essential nutrients that it needs. Remember, these are raw materials, essential nutrients that the body needs to function optimally, but the body cannot make these. They have to be imported. And because of agricultural farming methods, the amount of these nutrients that exists in the food that you eat is less and less and less and less and less and less over time. So you could be eating 3 square meals a day, get all the fruits and vegetables that the Surgeon General recommends, and you're still going to be nutritionally deficient. So this is our basic message, our basic strategy. Stop eating food that's gumming up the works. Consume food that's high in cholesterol. Fill your body's nutritional tank up with the 90 essential nutrients, and then take extra omega-3 and omega-6 essential fatty acids, again, because your central nervous system needs them. It's really pretty straightforward. Pay attention to your behavior. Pay attention to your child's behavior as you're going downstream here. And if you see with yourself or your child that there's a meltdown at any particular moment in time, the first thing you need to think about is, well, what was the last thing that my child had to eat or drink? And then you write that down on your cellular device or a notepad. And after the third or fourth time that that's happened, there's going to be foods on those lists which are similar. And it's entirely possible that your child is reacting to one of them or 2 or 3 of them. So you remove them from the child's diet, and see what happens. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. If you like the information that I've talked about in this tutorial, you're going to love the rest of the information that I have. Here's my social media contacts. Follow me, please. I am your steadfast